Good morning, guys. This is Alex from Low Key Millionaire here, and today I wanted to talk about the life-changing effects of frugality. It has definitely made its mark on me, and it's changed my life for the better, being frugal. The first reason is no longer do I need to keep up with the Joneses. I can't stress enough how vastly important this one idea is. There is no need to keep up with the Joneses. You do not need to keep up appearances, to keep up this kind of image of being successful, of being well-to-do, of being well-off. First of all, nobody cares, okay? Just as you get older, you realize this. People are way too consumed with the problems and the issues going on in their own life that they absolutely do not care about what is going on in yours. They just don't care. Like, that, I'm telling you straight up right now, as a middle-aged adult, people do not care about you or what you have or your life because they're too wrapped up in their own. In my younger years, I'd always think, man, wouldn't it be nice to just drive this BMW or this Mercedes? Or wouldn't it be nice to buy this Rolex watch? I mean, the thought now is almost disgusting because that materialism, that consumerism, it just eats you alive. You know, essentially you're trading your time for that possession. If you think about a Rolex watch, I don't know, somebody maybe in the comments below can let me know how much it is, but it's got to be like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for a watch. That is unbelievable. If you count the number of hours that it takes for you to accumulate that money, that is essentially the representation of how much time it took to acquire that Rolex watch. I mean, essentially, you're wasting your life. You've wasted your life, in my opinion, if you do that. I guess when you're younger, you always think about wanting to secretly flex on people and show how much you have, how cool it is. Oh wow, look at this mansion that I have. Look at this Rolex watch or whatever. But in reality, a lot of people who do that are flat broke. That is yet another lesson that you learn later on in your life. Appearances do not equal reality. A lot of these people are completely maxed out on their credit cards. They're living so far above their means that they're drowning in debt. They're living check to check. You check their accounts, you check their net worth, it's nada. It's literally nothing. It's shocking how many people live like this. I mean, even the people who are high earners, they are not, I mean, they live a life, a lot of them live a life that is so lavish that they're essentially living paycheck to paycheck despite their high income. It's just a sad truth that you realize once you get older. Most people are not as successful as they appear, especially the ones that are loud and like to brag and show off. You know, in fact, those are oftentimes the poorest folks because they're not even worth zero. They're actually worth negative. You know, they're in debt. The benefits of being frugal are incredibly stimulating because your mentality has completely changed. You no longer seek consuming materialistic goods. Instead, the best things in life right now to me is, for example, going on a walk like I am doing right now. Just chopping up with my friends over a cup of coffee or whatever. Just like the simplest, cheapest things in life is what brings me the most pleasure and joy at this point. I was just thinking about like in my younger years when, you know, somebody with like this bomb ass like Mercedes would drive by, or this BMW that looked awesome, and like how, let's face it, how jealous I was of those people. You know, I would imagine that their life was just perfect because, you know, they had made it, right? Like they had quote unquote lived and earned enough to basically afford these luxuries in life, or so I thought. But now, as I get older, it was all a mirage, man. Like, it was all just for show, essentially. Basically, people live a lie all the time. You know, and another aspect of frugality that is often overlooked is the fact that because you have such a margin in life, the difference between your spending and your earning is so big that it allows you to become a better investor, essentially. It allows you to use your money and be more aggressive with it as an investor. It allows you to take more long shot investments, like more so-called moonshots, where it's high risk, yes, but it's also high reward. You know, if you were always so straddled by, you know, all these monthly payments, all these mortgage payments on these mansions, these car payments, credit card payments, whatever the case may be, that is like an anchor on your shoulders, and it puts the fear in you, because if your investments go sour, or it doesn't go the way that you want, or a business venture goes sour, you're completely screwed. I mean, it's threatening and jeopardizing your livelihood and possibly your family's livelihood, because you're used to a certain lifestyle. So frugality helps you become a better investor, because you can take these shots and still survive if you're wrong. And you just need one or a couple of these moonshot investments to pay off, to really, really change your life. I mean, a couple of the moonshot investments that I can think of were something like cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin. I mean, investments that have the potential to 50x, 100x, literally change your life. And if you don't have that margin of safety, if you don't have that delta between your savings and your earnings, you are in trouble, because you don't have that opportunity is not open to you. I think back on my own life, and there's some very key investments that made all the difference now for me, for my own life. And the reason that was even possible was because of my low burn rate, caused by the frugality in me, by my frugal nature, just, you know, living well below my means and creating this surplus, essentially, to live on. It's a beautiful day, and I feel like frugality helps you just enjoy more of your life and allows you to truly pursue things that you are genuinely passionate about, not because you have to. I mean, the worst feeling in the world, in my opinion, is being forced to work, being forced to do something that is basically against your will in order to pay for daily living. We all start out like that, of course. We all need money. When it's just a fact of life, you know, bills, expenses. It's just, you know, I'm not naive to that. We all start out like that, needing to work to make money. But the plan or the idea should be to slowly extract yourself from that as soon as possible, ASAP, to get out of that loop, essentially, of earning and spending, earning and spending, earning and spending. And one way of doing that, one very, very effective way, is being frugal. I can't emphasize this enough. It's one of those things where unfortunately, most people learn too late in their life, when they're like 60 years old, 70 years old. You know, I've watched YouTube videos of 70-year-olds, 75-year-olds saying if they could go back in time and talk to their 20-year-old self, they would say basically what I'm saying right now, just to live well below your means, just to enjoy the small pleasures in life rather than chasing, you know, lavish consumerist expenditures, the greatest vacations, you know, like going to the Maldives Islands, or like, you know, buying that really crazy mansion that you've always wanted. I mean, the thought of that itself is almost laughable at this point. And it's actually really disgusting to me, quite frankly. I'd rather, in my age, just live simply. I mean, if frugality has taught me anything, it's basically that a simple life is all that I want. A simple life is all that I need. One that is devoid of headaches and stress and anxiety. All right, guys, this is Alex from Low Key Millionaire here. It was great seeing you. I'll talk to you in the next one.